Hello everyone and welcome to the Captain's video blog. It's 5 in the afternoon on Sunday afternoon. So here's the video blog for Saturday, June the 11th, 2016. So what did I do since the last video blog? Well, I slept until 7 in the evening on Saturday night. So I actually missed most of the action in the Euro for the day, meaning that I didn't see Gareth Bale score for Wales against Slovakia in a match that saw Martin Skrtel nearly behead a Welsh player, because holy shit, that guy is a fucking butcher. How is he still called for the national team? And I think Switzerland won against Albania. So yeah, and the other big news being that supporters, how could I say it otherwise, clashed in Marseille. Like, this is pretty much having an England versus Russia in Marseille on the second day of competition was probably, you know, like the perfect storm. Like, everything was there to make it the worst thing ever. Like, the English already came in 1998 and well, hunted the Muslim, as they would say, and some of them came for a second round, though they probably didn't expect the locals to be, you know, pretty hot, despite the fact that, you know, it's the Ramadan. I don't know if that's the right way to say it in English. Ramadan, I don't know. But yeah, the Muslim fast. So yeah, the first night was heavily publicized, despite the fact that it probably wasn't the worst. You know, little clash between the riot police and the English fans, who apparently were provoked by local people, which I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of people from Marseille being involved in any way. But really, you have on one hand English fans who drink all day and chant very loudly, and sometimes have the wrong kind of banter, like the kind of banter that you shouldn't say in a town which has a lot of, you know, pride in itself, like Marseille. So that's another factor. And you have the Russians, who are pretty much professional hooligans. You know, some of them are pretty much fighting for sport, despite the fact that they rarely do urban fighting. They rather fight in the woods, as you know. Sometimes Russia has a lot of woods, and they have, you know, this kind of imagery of beating up the English hooligan, despite the fact that hooliganism is becoming less and less of a trend in England. And then you have the riot police, who are in a constant state of emergency, you know, since the terrorist attacks of November the 13th, and really have been on guard pretty much since April, I think, when the Vigipirat plan had been reevaluated. So yeah, that was pretty much the perfect storm. And despite the fact that the UEFA has apparently said that both England and Russia could be disqualified from the Euros if there are any other clashes involving either of the two teams. I mean, if Russia is involved in a clash and not England, England would get disqualified, and vice versa. But yeah, still, I think it's in it's not in the realm of the impossible. It's very much possible that it could happen again, since I think on the 15th and the 16th, England and Russia are playing, one in Lens and the other in Lille. That are two towns in the northern part of the country that are very close from one another. So yeah, wouldn't rule out the possibility of other clashes. And this time you won't be able to say, yeah, it's because it's in Marseille, because it won't be in Marseille. I mean, already shit that happened yesterday night in Nice shows that it's not because it's Marseille. God damn it. I mean, I take a lot of pride being from Marseille, despite the fact that I lived there for like 2 years and a half. You know, I sometimes I watch where I lived when I was, a kid, like really young, which is the only time that I really spent in Marseille, and I look at where I live now, which is very much the countryside, and I think how different would have I become. Like, to me, it's a huge possibility that I would have grown to be even more of a shut-in, if I had lived in Marseille, because at least here there was, more of a sense of I don't know. Life was more boring, so you kind of had to sometimes go out with your friends. Despite, and on the other hand, Marseille was very much an active city, and that's the kind of shit that tires me a lot, being active socially. So yeah, I wanted to make some subtitles, from the fact that I had the living room for myself, and there was a football match, but then I got caught up doing whatever, and time really flew, like when I checked the clock, it was Colombia versus Costa Rica, which started like really crazy for Costa Rica. Like, they had one goal. They had a 2-1 lead, I think, at the end of the first half. So yeah, Costa Rica just saw the USA buzz by for the first place of the group. Like I said that last week, I said that it would be difficult for the USA to even get qualified, for the rest of the competition, for the single elimination matches. Turns out that Paraguay wasn't as good as I thought they would be, despite Roberto Ayala's goal against Colombia. I think it was on Thursday. Yeah, that was an absolute screamer. But still, yeah. So being awake right now for almost 24 hours, really, I'm feeling fine, and I feel that I shouldn't be here in my bed right now, because that's really tempting. Like, I would want to sleep, but I know that if I sleep, I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night, and that's something that I don't really want, because I have to go to Montpellier tomorrow. So yeah. But anyway, yeah. People were so after what's happened in Marseille, like, it was really bad. Like, this was probably the worst that could happen so early in the group stage. Like, when there's going to be people were fearing that the Russians would go to Nice and do some shit with the Polish fans, which they already did at the French border. It didn't end very well for the Russians. Like, they had 3 men down. I don't know how you could say that in another way. But yeah, so far nothing came from Nice, besides the fact that it's still a very boring city, with some politicians that are completely fucking, disconnected from reality. But yeah, nothing new really. Um, what could I say? Yeah, there was the Turkey versus Croatia game in Paris, and people were fearing that it could be as bad as the match of the clashes of yesterday. But because there were some things on the social network saying that the Turkish fans were very ready to fight, and the Croatian fans weren't exactly uh, the good guys either. And some Parisian fans who were probably among the biggest fucking victims yesterday in Marseille. Like they were hiding not only behind riot police but behind civilians too. That didn't keep them from getting the shit punched out of them. That's probably the only kind of violence that I would condone. But I do not condone any kind of violence. Um, so yeah, uh, we're expecting violent clashes and nothing happened. Good ambience, pretty fair, yeah, between Turkish and Croatian fans. That is kind of weird because Croatia is one of the places where the remove kebab meme was born, and despite being linked with Albania, the remove kebab has been taken to talk about Turkish and Arabic people pretty much. Um, so yeah, but still, it's really cool to see that um, you've got sometimes the wrong crowds at the wrong place, and that the French police is really not ready for that. Like their whole tactics for a whole year was banning supporters and fans from going to away games because they were fearing that the police would not be able to work with them. But obviously, if the only kind of tactics that police can pull out is shooting tear gas at the first at the first sight of something like even remotely violent happening, obviously, yeah, you cannot do much more than banning the going to away games. But that's not the right solution because other countries, oh boy, they're nothing like the French people. Like the head of the the anti-hooligan task force pretty much said after Marseille Paris that yeah, it's a classic with 80,000 white hot people ready to fight it out and all that, and the Euros crowds won't be the same. Much more familial. Family audience. Yeah, yeah, right. My ass too. And yesterday he said, "Nah, it's not a failure of our system. It's only that there was too much alcohol. Like, fuck you, man. Stop trying to find excuses. Own up to your shit, quit it out, and just admit that your fucking task force isn't wasn't the right solution all along. Like, after all that, you're going to tell me that banning French fans from going to other French cities is going to be tough for the police. Oh boy, oh shit, you're not ready." And I already said that after the match against Paris, but yeah, they're really not ready. So yeah, on a bad note to end that, something terrible happened in Orlando, Florida. Like, people are linking it to religion because the suspect and the dude who did that is an American, sure, but of Afghani descent. So maybe Muslim, but according to reports, he just hated gay people. It made them sick, so he was sick in the head too. And yeah, they're going to say that it was terrorist and something about America in itself, despite the fact that it was American. It's just that he hated the gays, and that's that's a really terrible thing to have happen. Like, he was really pissed. got really pissed at two men kissing in the street. Like, oh boy. Homophobia is just worst shit. I mean, among the worst shit, obviously, but it's still something that people are getting killed for. You know, being gay or transgender or any kind of thing that doesn't quite fit into the norm, and I feel that's like it's terrible. Like, I won't say too much about my case because you know it's just casual racism that I've been facing when I was young. But when you put your you know when you get some kind of image, there's sometimes you just feel that there's nothing to do about it, and I mean I can do much about what I look like or what my name makes people think of me, but I can always show them that I'm probably different from the stereotypes. Probably not though. I don't know. But about gay people, I don't understand because I mean most of the ones that I know didn't seem too different from you know normal people, straight people. That's the term that I kind of hate because it makes like being gay or well not being heterosexual is kind of a squiggly line or a zigzag of sexuality, and I'm like what the fuck does that even mean? So yeah, I really don't know how to express my thoughts, but it's really shitty, and yeah, I mean it would be wrong for me to say oh my thoughts and prayers, only my thoughts, because I'm not really believing in any god or any supernatural presence. So yeah, my thoughts are with the victims because it's shitty, and gun control, man. You shouldn't be able to own machine guns. Like heavy firepower is not necessary, and I don't think that Second Amendment was meant to protect that kind of shit. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Well, I mean probably later tonight. And goodbye. Oh god, and the brightness is so bad.